Hello and welcome to episode 32 of the Youth Intake Challenge, going into the 11th season. As you remember from last episode, we survived in League 2, 18th in position in the end. We did alright and we've had a fantastic youth intake. So this episode, what we're going to do is we're going to do a deep dive through the squad. We'll look through the 25 players we've kind of got penciled in to be the first teamers. We'll look at some of the runners and riders who might be in there for top player of the season. And then we'll do a little bit of a preview on how we think we might get on for this season. I think it's going to be a good one. I think for the first time in probably a good 7 or 8 seasons, we've got a real striker to hang our hat on and put our hopes on. So let's get into it. Welcome back. So here we go. Starting with the goalkeepers then. Both of them currently suffering a little bit of injuries at the minute. But we've got England Fredericks. He's our first choice goalkeeper, 25 years old, so he's been with us for a number of years now. He has been out on loan a couple of times, but huge number of years at the club. Cemented down, absolute 100% first team player. Current ability of 3.5 stars. His stats look pretty good. I don't think he's got any of the main ones bar positioning in single figures. So yeah, real stalwart of the squad. 25 years old. He's one of the oldest players that we've got as well. So in terms of the leadership group, he's quite important to us. And we don't have great depth in goalkeeper as it currently stands. So, yeah, absolute first name on team sheet. He's conceded more goals than he's had appearances, but to be expected at this level, especially when we've been developing a youth team as we've gone along. So, there's the first player of the squad. Second, we've got Rakesh Borrowdale. He'll play understudy, 20-year-old Irishman. Not had too many seasons with us. Well, he's had 6, but none really in first team. He's had 2 appearances where he conceded 2 goals, so he's not had the exposure to develop himself the way we would like to. And as you can see, stats-wise, he's a long way behind Fredericks. However, as deputy goalkeeper now, he should have more and more opportunities to kind of integrate himself into the squad and develop himself towards a first team appearance in the future. Moving on to the defence then, we've got Lolo Atienza. Lots of you remember him. He's one of the original players that we had in the squad. 26 years old, so he is one of the eldest in the squad. I think there's 2 of them were there. In fact, it's just him because Gilda's left. But yeah, easily one of our most reliable and significant centre-halves we've had at the squad. His stats are right in the right positions. He's a little bit low on his tackling. But yeah, I think really quality centre half. He's not going to be first team much longer because I think there's a couple of players might overtake him, but certainly in terms of a squad player, the Spaniard at 26 is someone we're not going to let go lightly. As you can see, he's made a huge number of appearances. There's 392, so he should hit past 400 this season, which is absolutely massive, and he's well past the 10 years at club as well. So stalwart is probably the best way to describe him. Partner him at centre back, we're going to have Adi McAvoy. He came through not too many youth intakes ago, so he's been here for 6 seasons. First season he only made a real bit part towards the end of the season, but since then he's made a huge number of appearances season after season. So again, another really good, reliable player to have in at centre half. Stats slightly better than Atienza, I think, as well, which is why he's popped up to a 4-star current ability with a potential of 5-star. Good tall player, professional, and again, we've just renewed his contract recently, so we've got him for another 3 years as well. So that's Adi McAvoy. Left back then, Louis Branthwaite. He's going to be the first choice. I think we've let Cockings go now. We've got the 21-year-old Barbadian playing at left back. Again, fairly professional player. Stats reasonably good. He's not quite so good on the passing side. But as a kind of fullback, wingback at that left-hand side at 21 years old, he's still got a little bit of wiggle room in terms of development. But yeah, fantastic player. So he is first name at left-back. Another centre-half then, squad player, not first choice, Mike Martin. Again, he came through 2 or 3 intakes ago now, I think. Let's just have a quick look. In fact, 4. So this is his 4th season. He played 17 games last season, which isn't actually too bad. But the young American... centre half, huge potential, really tall, but his stats need to develop and his strength needs to get a little bit higher. He's not the quickest, but he's got a little bit of additional cover at left back if need be as well. So I don't anticipate him playing a huge number of games at centre half because we have another player I think is just slightly ahead of him. but I do think he's a good rotation option, and we should give him some more game time as we progress to build him as he gets into the early 20s. Craig Potter, he's come in, plays anywhere across the back four. Again, 197 centimetres, a bit fickle, but his stats are a lot better than, say, Martin, for example. Young Ghanaian with a fantastic haircut, which is, I think, largely modelled on my own. But he's going to predominantly play at right back for us. He's going to be our first choice right back. Is he the finished article in terms of right back? No, probably not. Is he the ideal player? No, probably not. But he's the one who's going to slot in there, and that's where he's going to play for the majority of the season. But again, really good potential threshold for him to get a little bit better. Before we move on to the midfielders, we have Eric O'Kane, who's a reserve left back. Again, he's not got the greatest of stats. He's got a huge potential threshold. Another American that's come through the intake. He's going to need some exposure. He's gone past that kind of 18-year-olds now. He's going to need to start getting some first team training and some appearances before he's going to develop any further. So we're going to have to manage that quite delicately as we build some kind of redundancy at left back. In terms of a reserve right back, he's not in here. However, just for quick mention, because there's not many, Callum Coleman, who I've left in the youth team, he is a right back, but he plays more of a wing back. He's in there because he's the only other real right back we've got within the squad, and we need something big coming through the next intake. But he's going to be that kind of understudy in that position, which isn't ideal, and hopefully Potter's going to play a huge number of games, because I don't think Callum Coleman's ready, but that's the state we're in. Moving into midfield then, Kasaba Rakso, 18-year-old Hungarian, absolute phenomenal player, 3.5-star current ability, up to 5-star potential. His stats are phenomenal, and since coming in, he's played a huge number of games, so not that many seasons through the intake, but 36 games last year. His development's been fantastic. Clubs like Sheffield Wednesday are sniffing around him, so we'll keep him in there. Hugh Bogan, he can play centre half or defensive midfielder. He's a bit of an in-betweenie, 185 centimetres, driven young lad, Irishman. Not quite sure where I'm going to settle him down, to be honest, but we've got him in the squad to kind of pick and choose and give him a few game time, and maybe kind of settle on whether he's a centre half or whether he's a defensive midfielder. So a good, useful squad player in there. Carl Peterson, again, we nearly let him go at one point, but in terms of the mental abilities, he's a phenomenal player, young New Zealand player, 22 years old, got 4 caps now, still got a little bit of potential to wring out of him, but again, really useful in the middle of the park, and I think he makes us really strong in that area, which we'll see when we play the first game of the season. Luke Hallett, more of a rotational player, he's got some potential left in him. I don't think he's as good as a lot of the players in and around him. He is temperamental, nothing more than a squad filler player. We'll use him for a number of years and then we'll probably move him on, because I don't think he'll reach the heights of some of the other ones. Effie Atodo out on the left wing. Again, a good understudy to Dimitriadis. Got quite a good physical spread, got a good mental spread, and he can cross the ball. So actually I think he might become one of the long-term first teamers on that left-hand side. Eric Lynch, another centre midfielder, young Irishman, Northern Ireland this time. Again, really good mental stats. His physicals, not quite where I'd like them. I'd like his strength to build up a little bit, really. His technicals aren't too bad, but in that midfield role as a deep line playmaker and an option, certainly when we're doing squad rotation, I think he's a really useful player to have around. Emmanuel Boateng out on the right-hand side. He won't be playing first team. Again, a young understudy with a high potential threshold, low determination though, but he's going to play as an understudy to Moses on the right hand side. So Emmanuel Boateng should get some game time this time round, as we develop him on. Inwesa Ouedraogo, 24-year-old Burkina Faso player. Again, really good mental abilities, kind of very similar to Peterson. Good rotational option, been here for a huge number of years now. I think this will be his 10th season, so a lot of players will be due testimonials, but again, really useful player to have around. He scored 39 goals over 276 games, which isn't terrible, but really good player to have around. Stephen Spencer, not really sure what to do with him at the minute. Really good mentals. He's more of an out-and-out striker, but I don't think we're going to play him there anymore. I think we're probably going to look to move him on. He doesn't have as high a potential threshold as others. He's not particularly quick. He's not particularly good finisher. So I don't really want to use him in any of them positions. So other than a squad filler until we can get him off the books, that's all he's going to be really. Joshua Moses, he's going to be the first team out on the right wing. He's got a bit of pace, not quite as good at crossing, but his physicals are good enough to make him quite dominant on that right hand side. So the young Nigerian will make that place his own. 5 appearances in friendlies, 2 assists, 1 goal, average rating of 7.4. So really looking forward to him having a good season as he hits his early 20s. Jedi Mandanda, one of the younger players in the squad, 16, from Congo. He's got really good stats actually. The only issue I've got with him is he's more of an advanced playmaker than he is a ball-winning midfielder. But I think I see him playing more games in kind of that flat central midfield role. So we might have to develop him as such, and he'll fade away from being that kind of advanced midfielder. But again, I think his initial stat spread at 16-year-old is fantastic, and he's got a huge amount of potential to ring out. So I don't think he'll get an incredible amount of games, but I do think he'll get quite a bit of exposure this time around. So he's one to watch and one to keep an eye on. Dean Spence, everybody's favourite. Easily our most valuable player, 25 years old, worth millions compared to the rest who are just worth a couple 100,000. Professional attacker midfielder who's been here for a long time and he's scored a lot of goals. So he will continue to be one of the dominant forces in this Dulwich Hamlet squad. He's the club captain and he will continue to be so for a number of years yet. 75 caps for Barbados as well, so he might well get to the 100 this year. Which will be quite good, and we'll see how he gets on with that. Dimitriadis, our first choice attacking midfielder on the left, the young Greek, 22 years, really starting to make himself a bit more influential now. You can see from when he first came in and he only made 2 appearances, he's increased his game time year upon year. A slight bit when he had a bit of an injury towards the middle, but again, he's made that place his own and led to the demise of Jake Gilder, who's moved on since. So really good, and you'll see a lot come from him. He gets quite a few goals coming in from that left-hand side. Lamar Hams, who was our first choice striker, who had a lot of promise. He's now hit 22. He hasn't really fulfilled it in terms of the technical. His finishing's 4 for a striker is dreadful. So I envisage as kind of seeing him out and seeing him kind of pushed out of the squad. He has got 2 goals in 2 appearances in the friendlies. However, I think we've had some high-scoring friendlies, and I don't think he's going to start particularly many games for us. However, he is an option to kind of have on the bench because he can play either wing or up front. So there is a place for him in the squad as we move forward. Tony Watson, the young Canadian who we got through 2 intakes ago, but he picked up a really nasty injury which ruled him out for an entire season. I don't know if it's got his injury history on here, but he did break his upper leg, so he was out for 7 months, which really hampered his this first season with us. But he's back now. He'll get a chance to integrate. He's not particularly quick, but he has had a goal in pre-season coming off the bench. We'll just see if we can integrate him into the squad and see if we can develop him slightly more towards having a first team or a squad role in the future. And then finally, the one we're most excited about is Tony Dunk. He's come through. He's only 16. He's the best of our strikers, certainly stats-wise. He's fast, he can finish, he's got a good first touch, he's good off the ball, he's got a good work rate, he's got good acceleration, and he's composed. The only kind of bad bit about him is he's unambitious. However, in the friendlies, he's had 5 goals and 3 assists in 5 games. So I don't know why that's there, but he's been phenomenal, and I'm looking forward to seeing him get a full season under his belt and exposing him to first team from the word go. So that's the squad. Hopefully you've enjoyed that as an update into what we've got for this season, and it can help you formulate a prediction of how you think we might get on this year. In terms of tactics, we're going to stick with the same. I've not populated them in yet, but I will pick them before the next game. We're going to open up at Northampton at home. We're going to show that on camera, so I'll leave you now. I'll get ready for the game, and we'll see how we open up Season 2 in League 2. Stay tuned. Welcome back. So here we go for the season opener at Northampton. So we've got a home game. We're going to kick off a game that we're potentially going to win. We are carrying a number of injuries just from friendlies. Haven't quite recovered yet. So what we've got is Fredericks in goals. Got a back 4 of Brathwaite, Atienza, McAvoy and Potter. Got Raxo in the deep line playmaker role. We've got Spence and Peterson playing as attacking midfielders just in front. Dimitriadis on the left, Moses on the right, and the new cult hero Dunk up front to see if he can get a goal scoring start to the season. Quite a strong bench. We've got Borrowdale on there. We've got 2 centre halves, Mike Martin and Hugh Bogan. Bogan can kind of play central defence or defensive midfielder. We've got 2 midfielders as well, so we've got Ouedraogo and Mandanda, and then we've got Lamar Hams and Steve Spencer, who can play up front or on the wings. I did contemplate taking Tony Watson. If I were to do it, we'll take Tony Watson instead of Spencer, because like I said, I don't see Spencer really featuring long term this season, so that's what we've gone with. We'll get into the game. We'll nurse the injuries as we go along. Both keepers, incidentally, kind of struggling for fitness, but I'm hoping we don't have to rely on them too much. It's always good to have a home game at the start of the season, and if we can get off on the front foot, that would also be highly beneficial. So not expected to pull up any trees in the league this year. We are favourites to go down bottom again, although instead of being at 300 odd to 1, I think we're only at 150 to 1, so that is a promising move up the charts as Northampton get the first corner of the game. Atienza gets it away initially, and they get the first shot of the game after a minute. Let me know in the comment section if you've been following the Euros. I've been unfortunately watching the England games. They've not been great. Hopefully we can turn the corner as we get into the last 16. We can get a good performance against Slovakia and kind of grow a bit more into the tournament, because so far it's been pretty dreadful, and something really needs to change. Apart from that, though, the tournament's been pretty good. There's been some surprises in there. Austria topping the group was a bit of a surprise. Georgia getting through, again a surprise, and then Croatia crashing out, again another surprise. It's been a good tournament. Looking forward to seeing what happens next. Some really big games in the next round, so I'm looking forward to that. In terms of the game today, though, we're not doing particularly well. We are playing with a cautious approach. We might have to play a little bit more balanced to try and get into the game instead of sitting deep the whole time. Again, we've got the ball clear. Dimitriadis had a chance to kind of break there, but there was nothing really in front of him, and he didn't get the ball out of his feet. Although his first touch there took it straight out of play, so not the greatest. Not had any chances yet. No shots off target. Possession's a bit low as well, but hopefully we can grow into the second half. If we get to half time at 0-0, it's a chance to regroup, looking at what possible substitutions we can make. Sorry about that, I just knocked the camera down a little bit. But yeah, half time, 1 shot, 1 on target. I'm not sure about that. We need to take more shots, I think, is the way to go with this. Got to get the ball to Dunk, and we've got to give him a chance to put one away. So we'll start the second half, full 45 minutes in the balanced mentality. Depending if we get to the 60-minute mark, if we're still in the game, we might try and go a little bit more positive to try and nick it. But I don't want to push the boat out too far too early as we get our own throw down the right-hand side. Potter to Peterson. We'll probably move this across the back 4, but straight into Spence into Dunk. Did break initially, couldn't quite get the ball under his spell, and we did get a shot for Peterson, but unfortunately it was way off target. Another corner to Northampton on the 55th minute. In it goes, initially headed clear. Not liking how many chances he gets to hit the post, and I think we might have to go a little bit more positive to try and get them off the front foot and get them on the back foot. Joshua Moses is not having a particularly great game, so we'll get Lamar Hams out there. I'm not going to take Dunk off because I really want to introduce him to a lot of first team football this season, and I think, judging by his pre-season friendlies, when he starts getting a couple chances, his confidence will go up. But we've given away a penalty in the 59th minute. It looked a little bit harsh. Fredericks with a chance to make himself a hero. Unfortunately not. We'll stay positive because we've got to pull it back from a goal down now. Unfortunate with 30 minutes to go. So opening game of the season, we find ourselves a goal down. Spence for Ouedraogo because he looks tired. And again, the first few games of the season are always a little bit like that. Dunk nearly found with the ball over the top there. But unfortunately the keeper comes out and smothers it away before he can get there. But I'm hopeful we're going to get something from this. Another chance for Northampton. Ball getting thrown in the box a couple times. Can't quite get it away, and Oliver gets his second goal of the game. Perhaps it was the move to a more positive approach. Maybe we should have stayed balanced or cautious, but a kill on the left-hand side. Playing it through to Davis. He gets it through to Oliver. And it's a bit criminal defending there, giving him first to the ball. And he's got a tap in from inside the 6-yard box. Dunk not having a great game. Do we? No, I've got to leave him on. I've got to give him the exposure. I've got a step away from feeling bad from it. A goal will sort him out. Raxo with a corner then. 18 minutes to go. Hams with a header, but it's a loopy high one that's easy for the keeper to catch. So 18 minutes to go. Some words of encouragement. But it looks like Northampton pushing down the right hand side. Out to the edge of the box. Dales gets in there, but unfortunately Fredericks can push it past the post. Brathwaite not having a great game. Dimitri Addis starting to tire. Ouedraogo's got the ball forward though. Dunk's giving it away initially. Hams down the right hand side though. In it goes to Dunk. He had his chance there. That could have been the moment. Would have given something to think about with 14 minutes left to go. Building a little bit of momentum now. Ball up to Dunk, but it's been headed clear. And Oliver picks up the ball as they drive forward. Lovely ball through to Gill, and that has killed the game off completely. I think if we'd got one back there, there was a chance of some kind of a comeback, but lovely little through ball to the wide overlapping run from Gill, and he puts an accomplished finish past Fredericks, who can't do anything about it at all. So all told, well and truly shown our place in terms of the league positions. It's going to be another long and difficult season. Dunk not off to the start I wanted him to. I was hoping he'd get a goal fairly early doors and he could build something this season. Maybe it's just slightly too early to him. Maybe I've jumped the gun. As he goes through, he gets his goal. Did I speak too soon? And that's what he's there for. And I think he's just the best natural finisher we've got at the club. Raxo, again, deep line playmaker ball, lovely through pass. Dunk with a first time shot into the far left hand side, leaving the keeper no chance. And he's got the drive in there to go and get the ball back as well. So let's just watch this for the offside. I mean, it's the lovely timing of the run, and Raxo's pass is weighted perfectly. 5 minutes to go. It's probably going to be little more than a consolation, but what it does mean is Tony Dunk is off and running, and his account for Dulwich is only going to grow from now. So let's just see out the game. Let's take the fact we've got no points from it, regroup and rebuild for the next season and what could be a lengthy slog. I don't think we're going to pull up any trees in terms of position, but I'd like to think we'll finish higher than we did last year. But we will probably start the league near the bottom following that result. So let me know in the comment section how you think we're going to get on. I think we've got some promise. Before we go, I can quickly show you how we're favoured to do, just so you've got a bit of perspective into it. But there you go, 150 to 1, bottom of the league. But I think we could easily top all the 50 to 1s, maybe the 33 to 1s and finish, maybe a 16th might be on the cards. Anything higher than that's going to be heavily reliant on us developing players through the training and youth system, but I think it might be too much too soon. However, I'm just really keen to see Dunk get a few goals and grow ready for next season. So thanks for watching. Only 2 subscribers away from hitting the 100 mark, which is fantastic. So thanks for everyone who has liked it and subscribed, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode with a progress update and a bit of a youth intake preview. So enjoy the Euros, take care, enjoy your saves, and I'll see you again soon.